hell is that? Hello?
Oh, freak sakes!
Fuck your camera, man. You're not having
Come out and fight, you
There we go.
Brad, the creator behind the YouTube channel Exploring with Brad. Through his videos, Brad takes viewers deep into abandoned places, historic trails, and locations across Ontario, Canada that are steeped in paranormal lore, eerie legends, and unexplained activity. On January 16, 2026, Brad set out on what he believed would be another intense but controlled exploration. This time, however, his destination was far more disturbing. He ventured into one of the most haunted forests in the region, a place infamous not only for alleged Bigfoot sightings, but also for its dark human history. According to local legends, this forest is tied to a serial killer case from years ago, where 2 teenage girls were brutally murdered within these very woods. Since then, the area has developed a chilling reputation. Many believe the forest never truly let go of what happened there. Brad came here with one goal: to investigate whether any of these legends held truth. But what he didn't realize was that this night would be unlike anything he had ever experienced before. As darkness closed in around the forest, the atmosphere shifted, quiet, heavy, and unsettling. What began as a routine paranormal exploration would soon unravel into a terrifying ordeal, leaving Brad shaken to his core and questioning whether some places are haunted not just by spirits, but by the echoes of real human evil that never truly left.
Doing camping in the Bigfoot forest. So here I'm not actually doing Bigfoot hunting tonight. I was going to save that for our new show and our new series that's coming out, Barry's Bigfoot Hunter. Be sure to check us out. So tonight we're kind of doing paranormal overnight camping and stuff like that. There's a story that I've actually picked up. So there was a serial killer here, and he stabbed 2 teens and killed them in these forests. And this forest is actually massive. It's huge. It goes all the way around Barrie and stuff like that. We don't know exactly where those stabbings happened, but he was after like young teenage girls and things like that, which is really, really, really creepy. So we're kind of going to do an investigation, see how that goes. We might actually do a little bit of exploring, because there's places here I've actually never been. Wow. Okay, this goes down that way. It's back. Is there anything down there? Yeah, like look, it's going straight that way. Huh. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna leave my sleeping bag here and we'll go on up ahead. Yeah, I brought my little sleeping bag for the big teepee in the woods. I actually have to get some repairs done on my camera. The shoe mount that's actually part of the camera, it's damaged, and I guess it's from me running and jolting or falling and things like that. Okay, what was that? I don't know what it was. There's like a sound out this way. Oh well, just tread lightly. It looks like there's some sort of trail here. I don't think I've ever been down this way, so that's why I'm kind of checking it out.
Brad left his bag near the entrance of the forest and began hiking deeper into the woods, heading toward an area he wasn't familiar with. As he moved farther in, the atmosphere noticeably changed. It felt heavier, more oppressive, and unsettlingly quiet. Then he felt it, the unmistakable sensation that someone was nearby and watching from a distance. He stopped and scanned the trees, but there was no one there. No movement, no sound. Brushing it off as fear setting in from being completely alone, Brad continued forward, unaware that the deeper he went, the more vulnerable he was becoming. He pulled out his spirit talker and began asking questions. At first, there was nothing, only static. Then, slowly, fragmented responses started coming through. Death, no home, helpless. The words alone were disturbing, but as he continued asking questions, something unsettling happened that defied explanation.
Just gonna put this here for a second. Get a better view out of it. Can you clarify and tell me how you died? Can you clarify and tell me? Oh, freak's sakes! What the freak was that? What the freak was that? Oh my god! Oh man! Oh man! Oh man! Oh freak! Oh freak! Let's go! Let's go! Oh fudge! What the hell was that? Come on! Come on! Oh man! Oh freak! What was that? Oh man! Oh, that sounded like a growl. Some sort of creature. That's scary.
As Brad continued using the spirit talker, he began asking how the spirits had died. That's when it happened. A sudden scream tore through the forest, loud, piercing, and deeply unsettling. It didn't sound like any animal Brad was familiar with. It was closer to a woman's scream, yet distorted, almost creature-like, as if something unnatural was behind it. Fear surged through him instantly. Acting on pure instinct, Brad turned and sprinted in the opposite direction, his heart pounding. After creating some distance, he stopped and scanned the darkness, trying to pinpoint where the sound had come from. The forest stood still. There was no one nearby, no visible animal, no movement, nothing that could explain it. That's what disturbed him the most. The scream didn't feel random. It felt intentional, as if something had made itself known, letting Brad know he wasn't alone. Shaken but determined to continue, Brad eventually chose a spot and settled in for the night. Exhaustion took over and he drifted into sleep with the necrometer still running beside him. But the night wasn't finished with him yet. Something even more unsettling would soon rip him awake.
My goodness, what was that? Oh, frig, that was scary.
Walk left.
Walk left. What the fudge? I heard gunshots. I heard gunshots. And somebody scream. There's something going on here. There's something going on.
Your hair.
Oh, frig's sakes. Oh, frig's sakes. What's going on? Another gunshot. There's another gunshot. Come out and fight, you Come out and face me, come on.
The tub.
Son of a Oh, freak. I'll stay in here. I can't leave. I can't go anywhere yet. This is crazy.
Brad was suddenly jolted awake by the sharp sounds of gunshots outside his tent. Before he could fully register it, screams tore through the forest, mixing with the echoes of more gunshots and the thudding of something striking his tent. His heart raced as he grabbed his flashlight and cautiously peeked outside, but there was nothing. No animal, no person, no visible explanation for the terrifying sounds. The screams alone were enough to make his blood run cold. He couldn't rationalize where they had come from. As he scanned the surroundings, a creaking noise caught his attention, and the sensation of being watched intensified. It became clear he wasn't alone. Someone or something was right there with him, unseen but undeniably present. The mix of screams, gunshots, and the eerie sense of being stalked suggested a terrifying possibility. Perhaps it was something supernatural, or maybe something far darker had happened in this forest, and now he was in its path. Fear surged through him as he realized that staying any longer could put him in serious danger. Without a second thought, Brad packed up and fled, racing through the woods towards safety. But as he put distance between himself and the forest, a piercing scream echoed through the trees once more, freezing him in his tracks.
What's that? Oh man, something was back there. Something's back there. Oh fudge. Oh fuck. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Oh, that was scary.
Once again, a woman's scream tore through the forest, sharp, distorted, and filled with terror. It echoed between the trees. Brad froze, scanning the darkness, desperately trying to locate where it came from. But there was nothing. No movement, no footsteps, no visible source. The forest had gone unnaturally still, as if it were holding its breath. Shaken and confused, Brad realized the sounds weren't random. They felt deliberate, like something was announcing its presence without revealing itself. He left the forest carrying memories far darker than he arrived with. The isolation, the gunshot-like noises, and those horrifying screams cutting through the silence of the night. While the thought of spirits was unsettling, the possibility of human involvement was far more terrifying. Humans are unpredictable, capable of cruelty far worse than any legend. If someone was out there, hiding and watching, Brad knew staying any longer could have put his life at risk. Trusting his instincts may have saved him from something far more unsettling. He escaped the forest before the situation could escalate into something far worse. After the video went live, viewers began drawing their own conclusions. Some believe the forest is haunted by the restless spirits of the two teenage girls who were murdered there. Others think the screams were residual energy, echoes of past violence replaying itself in the same place. But no matter the theory, one thing remains clear. Whatever happened in that forest has never been fully explained, leaving behind an enduring mystery that refuses to fade. This unsettling footage comes from Rick, the creator behind the YouTube channel Rick in His Van, where he documents life on the road in his self-converted camper van. Rick travels from place to place, sharing not only his journeys across the country, but also the ups and downs of van life, along with practical tips and tricks he's learned along the way. On October 26, 2023, Rick set out on what he expected to be just another adventure, but this one was different. This time, he chose to camp overnight in a woodland notorious for its haunting reputation. It was a personal challenge, spending a full night alone in a place many locals avoided after dark. What began as a calm and seemingly peaceful trip, however, would soon unravel into one of the most terrifying experiences of Rick's life.
This is the common. Now, I've been here before and shot a few videos here before. I did one on my shower and a couple of other things that I've filmed here. It's only up the road for me, so it's a really easy place to come to. And it's lovely, and you can wild camp here, and you are allowed, and you can camp in your vans here, and you're allowed as well. Something to do with bylaws and some common land. I think this is like one of 10 places in this country where we can actually do it. So I'm here, I'm just going to sit in the van, make myself something to eat, let it get a bit colder and a bit darker, and then I'm going to go off into the woods over there and see what we can find. There you are. Still using this new gimbal of mine, getting used to it. So right, let's get some food on. Right, so this is home for the night. First things first, dinner. What have I got? Nothing particularly exotic or gourmet. Hot dogs, frankfurters, but they do taste amazing. So I'm going to get those. Oh, I've got some crisps as well. Some of these new crisps that are out, which I love. I am missing a beer. That's the one thing I didn't bring, but I have got coffee. So that's the main thing. First, let me just take you outside. I haven't shown you exactly where we are and where the van is. So, this is it. This will be home for the night. They're the woods that we're going to. This is it. Right, let's go get dinner on.
Rick found a secluded spot deep in the forest, a place he had visited before and felt familiar with, and parked his van there for the night. The air was crisp and the atmosphere was calm and quiet, the kind of stillness that only exists in complete solitude. At that moment, nothing felt out of place. Feeling settled, Rick decided to have his lunch. He began preparing hot dogs and buns, planning a simple meal before nightfall. Everything seemed peaceful, almost reassuring, unaware that this quiet calm was only temporary.
Just going to tuck into these. I don't judge. I have made 4. I am a hungry man. All right, and I'm not the smallest of people, so don't judge me, but I am going to double up on the sausage inside the bun. Right, I'm going to scoff these and then get ready to go into the woods. No idea where on earth I'm going. Just going to follow the, well, pathway. I wish there was a path. Let's just go this way. Let's see where we're going. Right. I mean, this is ridiculous. I've got no idea where I'm going. Oh, there's a gate. Let me go through here. Oh, hello. What's that? What is that in the woods there? Look, what's that? Oh, I think I found the church. That was easy. Ah, it's not a gate. That is a fence. Ah, there's the church.
Carrying a torch, Rick decided to explore the nearby surroundings. As he moved through the forest, he stumbled upon a church hidden among the trees. While he was looking around the area, an unexpected moment occurred, something that didn't feel right and immediately broke the sense of calm.
Right, let's go and have a look. Just check this out. I haven't come prepped with the best torch in the world. Oh yeah, look at that. What is a little church like that doing in the middle of the woods? The hell is that? Hello? Hello? Hell's... Hang on. Did you see that? Or was that just me? There's my gimbal. I left my gimbal there. Swear... me. Oh, there was someone standing there. There was someone standing right here. I swear to God there was someone standing right here by my gimbal. Right. Right, that's freaked me out a little bit, so I'm just gonna go. Shut up. Right, I'm not joking you, that's just slammed itself shut. Right, I'm locking that up and getting out of it. I can't lock it, I can't lock it. I'm locking that. There's my gimbal. Oh, I'm dropping everything. Oh, drop my phone. getting out of here. I did not like that noise. Right, where am I going? I can't even see where I'm going. Right, that was weird.
Suddenly, Rick noticed a figure dressed entirely in black, standing perfectly still, like a mannequin in the pitch black darkness. He instinctively raised his torch and shone it in that direction, but in an instant the figure was gone. Whoever, or whatever, had been standing there had vanished without a trace. The person appeared fully draped in black with their back turned toward Rick and hadn't moved at all before disappearing. Panic set in as Rick tried to process what he had just witnessed. He was certain he had seen someone, but how could they disappear so quickly? Struggling to make sense of it, he tried to rationalize the moment, convincing himself it must have been his imagination playing tricks on him. Then, without warning, a loud bang echoed through the darkness. Rick immediately checked the metal gate of a nearby fence, assuming it was the source of the sound, but the fear only intensified. An uneasy feeling began to settle over him, lingering and heavy. Trying to calm himself, Rick returned to his van and prepared to settle in for the night, telling himself it was all in his head. But just as he finally drifted off to sleep, something suddenly jolted him awake, snapping him out of his rest and signaling that the night was far from over.
Right, it is... What is it? 1 o'clock in the morning, and I swear blind, I just got woken up by someone trying the van door handles. Right, there was a knock. There was definitely a knock. Someone was trying the van door handles as well. I'm going to turn the lights out. Someone was trying the van door handles. Okay. I heard a car pull up. There's definitely a car pulled up outside. I'm going to have a look. Well, that was weird. I opened the van doors and then within a minute there was a car reversing up and it's just driven off. So it's all quiet out there now, so I'm just going to try and get myself back to sleep. I don't know who they were, but no. We're all locked up, so we're safe. They can't get in, hence why they were knocking. So I'm going to roll over and I'm going to try and get back to sleep because it's 1:45 now, so try again. All right.
At around 1 a.m., Rick was suddenly jolted awake by the unmistakable sound of someone trying his van's door handles. Before he could fully process it, loud knocking followed, coming from just outside the van. There was no doubt about it. Someone was right there, testing the doors and deliberately making their presence known in the dead of night. With his heart racing, Rick slowly gathered the courage to look. When he opened the door, the scene took an even stranger turn. A car immediately reversed and drove away, vanishing into the darkness of the forest. The timing was unsettling, as if whoever it was had no intention of being seen. The questions flooded his mind. Who would be wandering through the woodland at this hour, approaching a stranger's van in total darkness? Still trying to stay calm, Rick reasoned that it could have been someone lost or a passerby. He shut the door, secured the locks, and lay back down, hoping the disturbance was over. But that hope didn't last. He was woken up again by loud knocking on the van's door, sharp and deliberate, echoing through the silent forest. It was clear this wasn't accidental, and whatever was outside hadn't left.
Can't believe this. Let me turn the lights on. I've heard that car come back at its spot. 2:45 now. That van's come back, well, that car's come back. That 4x4 vehicle. Right. Literally haven't slept. This. I am going home. They've driven off again. I didn't even look out. I just peered through my curtains that I've got up. Through the curtains there, I can see outside, and it's driven off again. I don't know if this is anywhere I shouldn't be parked, but I'm going. I'm not staying here anymore.
The car returned again. This time, whoever was outside knocked on the van once more. Slow, firm, and intentional. Now it was clear to Rick that this wasn't random. It felt deliberate, as if the person outside was testing him, waiting for a response, or worse, had darker intentions in mind. Rick didn't open the door. He didn't look outside. He stayed completely still, barely breathing, trusting his instincts to keep him safe. After several long, agonizing minutes, the car finally reversed and disappeared into the darkness. But the unease remained. Whoever had been lurking outside the van hadn't felt lost or accidental. It felt calculated, and the figure Rick had seen earlier, the man dressed in black who vanished without a sound. Could that have been connected? Nothing was adding up. The way the figure disappeared felt unnatural, almost otherworldly. And now, the repeated knocking and the stranger returning in the dead of night made the situation feel far more dangerous than Rick had first believed. A cold realization settled in. If Rick had opened the door, the situation could have taken a far darker turn. The forest was isolated. There would have been no one to hear him, no immediate help. The risk was suddenly undeniable. With adrenaline surging through his body, Rick made a decision. He quietly started the engine and drove away, headlights cutting through the trees as he left the woodland behind. What was meant to be a peaceful escape into nature had turned into a chilling and unanswered mystery. Who was watching him? Who kept returning to the van? And what would have happened if he had opened that door? Those answers remain unknown, but Rick trusted his instincts, and that choice may have saved him from something far more dangerous. This footage comes from Gavin, the creator behind the YouTube channel Gavin Reads It All, where he usually documents quiet reading vlogs and book discussions. But on October 17th, 2020, Gavin decided to step away from his usual routine and try something completely different. He planned a solo camping trip deep inside a forest, intending to spend the night reading 2 books inside his tent. What was meant to be a calm and immersive experience surrounded by nature and silence quickly took a disturbing turn, turning what should have been a peaceful trip into something far more unsettling.
Doing this because I am filming a vlog where I will be reading 1 horror middle grade book, 1 horror young adult book, and 1 horror adult book. Honestly, I don't know how I'm going to cope. It's going to be an all-nighter from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. I'm staying out here, and then I will, hike the motorway or something and try and get back home. So I've actually erected my own tent. I've never, put up a tent myself before. It's only a 1-person tent. I'll show you how it looks. So that's it there, and I don't think it looks quite right. It looks quite flat, and I believe it's going to rain tonight. That is not going to protect me whatsoever. It's going to be fun. Let's have a look inside. This is the inside. As you can see, it's perfect, absolutely perfect for a very spooky night outside. Ooh, I'm so excited. So I want to get all comfortable and I will explain more about what the night is going to entail. So welcome to my crib. Okay, I didn't realise there would actually be a lot of fireworks going off. So that's going to be great. It's absolutely freezing, absolutely freezing. I've got, a blanket on the ground. I've got another blanket on top. I've got my pajamas on, which really I probably should put some more layers on, but we're not going to do that. Can't be bothered. It already looks like it's falling down.
Gavin chose a secluded spot deep in the woods and set up his tent as the sun began to set, leaving just enough light filtering through the trees. The forest felt calm, almost serene, but it was alive with the constant sounds of wildlife echoing all around him. Mixed into those natural noises was something else, a faint scream. It didn't sound like an animal, but it was distant enough that Gavin barely registered it at the time. Earlier, he had mentioned how isolated the location was, and he hadn't seen another person anywhere nearby. Once inside his tent, Gavin settled in and began reading, calmly discussing his books as planned. But before long, something happened that shattered the quiet and abruptly brought his peaceful evening to an end.
It's 2 a.m. and I keep hearing noises. I mean, that's I was expecting that. There's a lot of noises going on outside. don't know if you can hear it. Hello? God, I'm shaking. Is there anyone there? Who do I think I am, Yvette Fielding from Most Haunted? If there's anyone there, please make a noise. It's literally so dark outside, I don't even think you would be able to see anything. What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? Where the fuck is it? It was right there. What the fuck was it? Fuck. Nope, 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 nope. It's 2 a.m, I'm out. I'm fucking out. I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. Nah. Goodbye.
At around 2 a.m., Gavin began hearing strange noises outside his tent. Slow, deliberate movement, as if someone was walking just beyond the fabric. The feeling of unease grew heavier by the second. Something was out there. He slowly unzipped the tent and aimed his camera outside to see what or who was there. That's when it appeared, a doll-like figure standing completely still in the darkness. Before Gavin could even react, it vanished. There was no glitch, no cut. One moment it was there, and the next it was gone, disappearing as if it had never existed. Shaken to his core, fear surged through him. Gavin didn't hesitate. He packed up his belongings immediately and left the area without looking back. Later, after checking in with his viewers, Gavin described the night as one of the most terrifying experiences of his life. The first time he had ever encountered something so disturbing. He couldn't explain what he had seen, but the footage clearly showed the figure. The faint scream earlier, the movement outside his tent, and then the sudden appearance of that figure, all of it remained unexplained. Whatever happened in those woods left a permanent mark on him. The mystery behind the scream and the vanishing figure was never solved, leaving behind an unsettling experience that would stay with him forever. This unsettling footage comes from a man named Clayton. On August 22nd, 2024, Clayton set out on what was meant to be a peaceful camping trip with his family and friends in Havasupai, a remote area within the Grand Canyon, famous for its breathtaking turquoise waterfalls, including Havasu Falls. What they expected to be a calm escape into nature, however, quickly began to unravel as the environment itself turned against them. By 10 a.m., the group had completed their hike to the Havasu grounds and set up camp. An hour later, around 11 a.m., rain began to fall. At first, it seemed insignificant. Light rain had been mentioned in the forecast, so they stayed put, believing it would pass. What they didn't realize was that this weather change marked the beginning of one of the most terrifying experiences of their lives, one where nature would show just how unpredictable and dangerous it can be. They waited, expecting the rain to ease so they could continue exploring the area. But without much warning, the situation took a drastic turn. They received an urgent flash flood warning, instructing everyone to evacuate immediately and move to higher ground.
What's your last words? If we don't make it out of here. Look at that water coming over that side.
In Havasupai, the towering cliffs and narrow canyon walls can funnel rainwater with terrifying speed. The soil absorbs very little water, meaning even moderate rainfall can turn into dangerous flash flooding within minutes. Clayton and the others hadn't expected the water levels to keep rising, but that's exactly what began to happen. Other campers were scattered throughout the area, and as the situation worsened, rangers urged everyone to evacuate to higher ground immediately. Some campers hurriedly packed what they could, while others were forced to abandon their gear entirely. As the water continued to rise, panic began to set in, and the reality of how serious the situation had become was impossible to ignore.
Bring in.
When the rain finally stopped, a brief sense of relief washed over them. For a moment, it seemed like the danger had passed, but that feeling didn't last long. A second wave of flooding began to surge in, and the relief vanished almost instantly. Clayton and part of the group managed to escape toward higher ground, crossing a bridge just in time. Within moments, the water level rose so rapidly that the bridge itself became too dangerous to cross. This left the rest of their group, along with several other campers, stranded on the opposite side. Fear quickly set in as everyone watched the water continue to rise with no sign of stopping. The conditions grew worse by the minute, and the realization hit hard. They were now at the mercy of a powerful and unpredictable force of nature.
He said they have tents for us.
I'm not going back down.
Oh my gosh! The trees! The trees are going!
The situation continued to escalate, and everyone huddled on the high ground, hoping the water levels would finally start to recede. But then, a terrifying sight appeared. A couple from another group was clinging desperately to the canyon walls, hanging for their lives as the floodwaters surged around them. Panic rippled through the campers as the rescue team arrived just in time to help them, pulling the stranded pair to safety. The scene was a stark reminder of how quickly the serene beauty of Havasupai could turn into a deadly force of nature. As time passed, the bridge eventually became passable, allowing some movement across the canyon, but the lower grounds remained extremely dangerous, with water still rushing with tremendous force. Helicopters weren't able to reach the stranded campers immediately, so Clayton, his family, and about 50 other hikers made their way to a nearby town within the canyon, which, they soon realized, had also become a flash flood danger zone. They were incredibly lucky to escape in time, but the devastation surrounding them was undeniable. Some campers had been swept away by the raging waters, and survivors later shared harrowing stories of clinging to life at the very edge of death. The speed and power of the flood left no room for error, and the memory of seeing bodies carried by the current lingered with those who survived. Clayton and his group were eventually rescued from the town the following day, while some of the most stranded hikers weren't brought to safety until 2 days later. In the end, the disaster resulted in significant loss: gear, personal belongings, and, tragically, lives. Several people didn't survive, and some were later discovered dead downstream. Although Clayton and his family escaped unharmed, the experience marked one of the most terrifying nights of their lives. It was a stark reminder of how quickly life can shift from peaceful and beautiful to chaotic and deadly. In situations like this, survival often comes down to timing, quick thinking, and sheer luck, as some escape while others are caught in the full force of nature's fury. This encounter comes from Sarah Dungo, a solo van life traveler who documents her journeys while living and traveling full-time in her van, moving from place to place in search of nature, solitude, and freedom. Her content usually reflects peace, independence, and the quiet beauty of solo travel. But on September 13th, 2021, that calm was broken. While parked overnight at a Cracker Barrel in Asheville, North Carolina, a location often considered safe for travelers and van lifers, her routine stop turned into something deeply unsettling. What should have been a normal, uneventful night transformed into an experience that would shake her sense of security and permanently change how she viewed solo travel.
So the first night in the city, I decided to spend the night at a Cracker Barrel, and if you're familiar with these restaurants, then you'll know that they're similar to Walmart in that they allow you to spend the night if you're passing through, and sometimes they even have designated parking spots for larger rigs. So I ended up spending the night here. There were some other RVs around, and I had a very peaceful sleep. After that, I decided to stick around the city for one more day and explore a little more. I again walked throughout the downtown area, took in some of the architecture and city vibe. The second day in the city was similar to my first. It was nice, but the night was completely opposite. I decided to park overnight at a different Cracker Barrel across the town, which seemed a little quieter with good Google reviews. The restaurant began closing and the parking lot slowly began emptying until I found myself alone in the middle of making dinner. I was totally in my own world when I heard an alarming knock.
Know her. Please leave me be.
Fuck your camera, man. You know that's
what just happened. Okay, so I'm safe right now, but I just had my first knock on the door. That was not the cops. Being alone, I was in the middle of cooking dinner, so I had my cooktop out, you know, propane hose attached and everything, and then he's just bangs on my side door right here. I first turn off all the lights, turn all the sounds off so I can hear what's going on in case it is the cops and I need to like talk to them. It wasn't, and then he banged on this door right here, the double doors, and that's when I got really nervous. He was complaining about a girl that worked at the Cracker Barrel and, you know, broke her heart and thought that she was in my van and was telling me to come out and prove that I wasn't her. And I was just proceeding to tell him, please leave me be. I am not who you think I am. I'm just an innocent traveler just passing through. And he says that he's seen my van there many times, which is definitely false. This is my second night here staying in Asheville, and I'm definitely not sheltered from seeing the effects of what drugs do to people. It's hard talking to people that are inebriated. Really hard to get through to someone that is on drugs and they're just not there. They're just fully engulfed with a dark spirit of some sort that is not allowing them to see clearly. And I feel for them, but, you know, not at the cost of my own safety. So, oh my God. So when he continued to not leave and was trying to go to every door of the van, I quickly unhooked my propane, put, you know, some things away, made sure my drawer was closed, and then drove down the street I don't know, a half a mile before I could actually, because I didn't really have time to put my stove away, so I just drove very slowly. And that's one of the things that kind of is a bummer with the van, is that I don't have a stove top that is in the counter. But yeah, so I got around the corner, called the cops, and then from there I drove about 10 miles up the road. I didn't speak to the cops in person. I felt safe enough. I did leave a description. Yeah, I'm a little bit shaken up right now, but also I've been able to calm myself. I am now at a place where there are other RVs. Before, there weren't any RVs at all, no other person in the parking lot.
Later that night, as Sarah was inside her van making dinner, she suddenly heard a knock on the door. When she looked outside, she saw a man standing there. Almost immediately, she sensed something was wrong. His movements were erratic, his speech didn't make sense, and it quickly became clear he was under the influence of drugs. Feeling uneasy, Sarah turned off all the lights inside her van, hoping he would leave. Instead, the situation escalated. The man began banging on the door, shouting incoherently. He kept insisting that she come outside, claiming he was looking for a woman who worked at Cracker Barrel and accusing Sarah of hiding her or being her. Even after Sarah told him no one else was inside, he continued pressuring her to come out so he could check for himself. The man circled her van, used obscene language, and repeatedly demanded she open the door. Sarah didn't have any weapons, but she trusted her instincts. She stayed locked inside, refused to engage, and didn't give him what he wanted. Eventually, she drove away from the area and contacted the police. She made it out safely, but the outcome could have been very different if she had opened the door, even for a moment. Later, Sarah shared the experience with her viewers to highlight how vulnerable solo van lifers can be, especially in isolated places. Sometimes the greatest danger isn't wildlife, it's other people. When someone is intoxicated, unpredictable, and determined to isolate you, they can be far more dangerous than any animal. In that moment, Sarah chose flight over confrontation. By staying inside her van and leaving when she had the chance, she removed herself from a situation that could have turned violent in seconds. Sometimes survival isn't about bravery, It's about recognizing danger early and choosing to get away before it's too late.